Nobody was ready for the moment everything changed. Not the fans, not the streets, and definitely not Lil Durk himself. Because when King Von died, something inside Durk didn't just break, it collapsed completely. And what happened in the days after? The cameras never caught it. The blogs never posted it. But the people closest to him? They say those hours were darker than anything he's ever survived. It wasn't just grief. It was guilt, pressure, accusations, betrayal, friends turning silent, family arguing behind closed doors, and Durk pacing around the room like a man who didn't know if he should cry or disappear. Fans were stunned when they saw Durk go quiet online, but nobody knew what was really happening offline. The phone calls, the heated arguments, the secrets being whispered about who was really responsible, the rumors that nearly tore his circle apart, and the unexpected person who showed up at 3 a.m., banging on his door demanding answers. Because the truth is simple, that night didn't just change Chicago. It changed Durk forever. And today, we're diving straight into the part of the story that nobody has dared to tell, until now. Nobody in Durk's camp slept that night. Nobody could. Because the silence that hit the room after the news dropped wasn't normal silence. It was the kind that shakes a man from the inside. The kind that makes your chest feel hollow even when you're surrounded by people. Lil Durk sat alone on the edge of the couch, elbows on his knees, palms locked together, like he was holding the world between his fingers and trying not to crush it. The lights were dim, the air was heavy, and nobody knew what to say. Every phone in the room kept lighting up. Missed calls, messages, group chats exploding. But nobody dared bring the phone to him. Not yet. Not right now. Not in this moment where everything felt like it was falling apart. Durk didn't cry at first. He just stared at the floor, blinking slow, trying to process a reality that didn't make sense. People around him whispered, paced, argued in the hallway about what was real and what was being exaggerated online. But the only thing Durk kept hearing, over and over, was Von's laugh. That loud, chaotic, wild laugh that used to fill studios and backrooms and tour buses. The laugh he took for granted. The laugh he never thought he'd lose. And suddenly that memory hit him so hard he felt his throat close up. He swallowed it hard, refusing to break in front of everyone. But his hands started shaking anyway. Someone finally stepped forward. A cousin, a friend, someone close. "Bro, you gotta breathe," they said quietly. "Just breathe, aight?" Durk didn't respond. Just blinked again. Slow. Lost. Stuck between denial and heartbreak. And that's when the second wave of calls hit. This time louder, more aggressive, more desperate. People demanding answers. People crying. People asking where Durk was and how he was holding up. Someone tried to hand the phone to him. He pushed it away. He wasn't ready for the world. Not yet. He stood up suddenly, almost knocking over the glass table in front of him. Everyone froze. His voice came out rough, unsteady, like something inside him was cracking. "Turn that ST off," he muttered. Someone quickly grabbed the TV remote. The news coverage, the social media reactions, the reports, gone. Just silence again. A silence even worse than before. Durk walked toward the window and pulled the curtains shut. "I don't want nobody seeing in here," he said. His voice was low but firm. Controlled. But his eyes told another story. Red, wet, glassy. Someone stepped closer. "Durk, say something, bro. You scaring people." Still no reaction. He was breathing though, heavy, uneven, like he was talking to someone in his head. Talking to Vaughn. Asking him why. Asking him how they ended up here. A chair scraped across the floor in the other room. A door slammed. Tension exploded. Two people were arguing in the hallway. Loud, emotional, messy. Something about who should have been where, who knew what, who said what earlier in the night. Durk flinched. That was the breaking point. He stormed toward the hallway. "Stop," he yelled. Everyone froze instantly. His voice echoed through the house, raw and wounded. "Not right now. Not tonight. You're not doing this in here." The two guys fell silent. One of them wiped his face. The other looked down at his shoes. Nobody wanted to add more chaos. Not when Durk was barely holding himself together. The first person who dared to speak after that was someone Durk trusted like family. "He loved you, bro," they said softly. "You know Vaughn loved you." Durk's eyes flickered, and his jaw tightened. He didn't trust his voice enough to answer. Because love wasn't the problem. The problem was everything that came before tonight. The distance, the changes, the pressure, the fame, the missed calls, the what-ifs. The questions that attack you when you're already down. Questions you can't escape. Someone knocked on the door outside. Hard. 3 loud bangs that made everyone jump. "Who is that?" someone whispered sharply. Another set of bangs. Even louder this time. Durk looked up, confused, irritated, drained. "Don't open it," he said. But someone already peeked through the door camera. Their eyes widened. "Bro, it's..." Durk's head snapped up. The room tensed immediately. People shifted, exchanged glances. Some even took steps back. Not because they feared him, but because they knew this conversation was going to hurt. Before Durk could react, the door swung open and walked in, face red, chest heaving like he sprinted the whole way. "Where he at?" he demanded. His voice was shaking. Somebody tried to calm him down, but he pushed past them. His eyes landed on Durk. "Nah bro, we talking right now." Durk closed his eyes like he didn't have the strength for this. Wasn't waiting. "You ain't answering nobody," he snapped. "You going quiet when everybody looking at you for direction. What's going on?" The room went dead silent again. Durk slowly turned to face him. His voice was barely above a whisper. "I'm processing." The way he said it made even hesitate for a second. But grief doesn't make everyone soft. Some people get louder. Some people need someone to blame, something to lash out at, someone to fight so the pain makes sense. Took a step closer. "Processing? We all processing. You think you the only one hurt? You think you the only one that lost somebody? Vaughn was family to all of us." A couple people tried to pull him back, but he shook free. "We supposed to move together. You hear me? Together." Durk finally snapped. "Back up off me with that," he hissed. "Don't come in here talking like you the only one feeling this. Don't do that." The room heated up instantly. People stepped between them, trying to de-escalate. Voices layered on top of each other. "Chill bro, stop, not right now." But T***** wasn't done. "Nah, he need to hear this. All that leadership talk, all that big bro talk. Now you silent when we need direction? That's the problem." Durk stared at him, chest rising and falling, anger mixing with heartbreak. "You don't know what I'm fighting right now," he said quietly. "So stop acting like you do." Those words hit harder than any shove could have. He looked at Durk differently then, not as a leader he was mad at, but as a man falling apart in front of him. His voice cracked. "He shouldn't have gone out like that," he whispered. "Not him. Not Vaughn." Durk blinked fast. His throat tightened again. And that's when the tears finally came. Not loud, not dramatic, but the quiet kind that sneak down your face before you can stop them. The kind that punch through a wall you've been holding up with both hands. Someone moved in quickly, arms wrapping around him, grounding him before he collapsed under the weight of everything he was carrying. Nobody spoke for a full minute. Just deep breaths, quiet sniffles, the low hum of pain in the room. Finally, T***** wiped his face and stepped back. "I'm sorry," he muttered. "I ain't mean to come at you like that. Bruh, this don't feel real." Durk nodded slightly. "It don't," he whispered. "It really don't." Another knock came at the door. Softer this time. Hesitant. Everyone froze again. "Who else is here?" someone whispered. This time, the person at the door spoke through it, voice trembling, familiar. "Durk, please. It's me. Just open the door." The room shifted. People looked at each other, confused, curious, nervous. Durk's head lifted again, eyes narrowing as he recognized the voice. A voice he hadn't heard in months. A voice he wasn't expecting tonight. Durk stood frozen for a moment, the weight of that familiar voice pressing against his chest like another blow he wasn't ready for. Everyone in the room looked toward him, waiting for some kind of signal, some kind of reaction, but he couldn't move. He couldn't even blink normally. Because that voice didn't belong to someone who came around often. That voice belonged to someone who only showed up when the situation was bigger than ego, bigger than disagreements, bigger than the arguments that tore people apart but never truly ended anything. When the door finally opened, slowly, cautiously, the room shifted. A couple of guys stepped back. Others crossed their arms, unsure whether this was good or bad. But Durk didn't flinch. He just stared as the figure stepped inside, hood up, eyes low, expression tense. They didn't say anything at first. They just scanned the room, taking in the tension, the chaos, the grief that soaked every inch of the air. Then their eyes landed on Durk. "Bro, I'm here," they said quietly. Durk's jaw tightened. He didn't answer, but something in his face cracked just a little. Not enough for tears, not enough for relief, but enough for the room to feel the emotional earthquake happening inside him. The stranger took a slow breath. "I ain't come to argue. I ain't come to blame nobody. I just needed to see you before things get worse outside." Someone muttered, "They already getting worse," under their breath, but nobody addressed it. Durk finally spoke, voice rough. "Why now?" That question hung in the room like smoke, heavy, uncomfortable, impossible to ignore. The visitor exhaled. "Because Vaughn wouldn't want us like this. Division, silence, confusion. This ain't how he built us. And you know it." Durk looked away, wiping his face quickly, trying to hide the emotion building again. The visitor stepped closer, lowering their hood. "You don't gotta talk. Just listen. The streets are panicking. Everybody's saying different things. Some blaming each other. Some are blaming you. Some saying it could have been prevented. And people are already recording videos, going live, doing too much. If you don't talk to your people soon, the situation gonna spin out of control." T***** scoffed. "It's already spinning." The visitor glanced at him. "Then we gotta stop it before it gets worse." Durk's voice came out low. "I can't even think straight." "Nobody expects you to," the visitor replied. "But they expect you to stand. Even if it's shaky. Even if it hurts." Durk swallowed hard. The words hit deeper than anyone expected. Someone in the back whispered, "He right," but Durk didn't react. Then the visitor said something that made everyone freeze. "There's more coming." Durk lifted his head sharply. "What do you mean, more?" The visitor hesitated. "I got calls before I came here. Some from people we trust. Some from people who don't even know each other. They are all saying the same thing. This wasn't random." The entire room went still. One of Durk's cousins stepped forward. "Don't start that, bro. Not tonight." "I'm not starting anything," the visitor said calmly. "I'm telling you what's coming. People are running with their own versions of the story. And if we don't get ahead of it, you're gonna be fighting battles you didn't even start." Durk's breathing changed. Deeper, slower, heavier. "So what are you saying? Someone planned it?" "I'm saying people think someone did," the visitor replied. "And they're gonna start pointing fingers real soon." T***** cursed under his breath and slammed his fist into the palm of his hand. "Man, I knew it. I knew somebody." "Stop," Durk snapped, louder than anyone expected. "Stop jumping to conclusions. You're not about to drag me into that mindset tonight." But inside, he was spiraling. Not because he believed the rumor, but because he knew how fast rumors turned into narratives, and how fast narratives turned into war. The visitor continued. "Durk, people need to hear from you. Not right now. Not online. Not on camera. But your circle needs direction. They need to know what you stand on so they don't go making choices that can't be undone." That last part hit T***** harder than anyone. He turned his face away, jaw clenched. Durk finally sank onto the couch, elbows on his knees again. "I can't lead anybody right now." "Yes, you can," the visitor said softly. "You're hurting, but you're breathing. That's enough for tonight." The room settled into a tense silence. Then the visitor added, "There's something else you need to know. But I need everyone else to step out for a minute." They all waited, eyes locked on Durk, bracing for whatever truth was about to land. Durk didn't speak for a long time after everyone stepped out. The room felt bigger now, quieter, almost too quiet. The visitor stayed standing near the door, hands in their pockets, eyes low, waiting for the right moment to continue. Durk finally looked up, wiping his face with the sleeve of his hoodie. "Aight," he muttered. What's the thing you ain't wanna say in front of everybody? The visitor took a slow breath. You gotta promise you not gonna react before you think. Durk narrowed his eyes. Just say it. The visitor hesitated again, choosing every word like each one had weight. Somebody talked to the wrong people already. Durk's expression changed instantly. Anger, confusion, fear all mixing together. Talked about what? About Vaughn, the visitor said. About where he was before it happened. About what he said. About who he met. They running around telling half pieces of conversations like they full truth. Durk's fists clenched. Who? The visitor shook their head. I ain't saying names until I'm sure. But if this keeps spreading, people gon' twist it into something messy. Something that paints you as the one who should have stopped everything. Durk's chest tightened. Man, I wasn't even. I know, the visitor interrupted firmly. But people ain't logical when they hurt. They looking for a place to put their pain. And you the biggest target because you the closest one left. Durk leaned back on the couch, staring at the wall like it was swallowing him whole. Bro, this ain't fair. Grief ain't fair, the visitor replied softly. And neither are rumors. Durk dragged his hands down his face. So what you want me to do? Call a meeting? Tell everybody to shut up? That ain't gonna work, the visitor said. They emotional. They panicking. You need to talk to the one person who started this before the story spreads further. Durk paused. You know where they at? The visitor nodded. Outside. They didn't want to come in until they knew you'd talk. Durk's whole body tensed up. Outside, here. The visitor nodded again. They've been out there for like 20 minutes. Durk felt something sharp hit his chest. A mix of dread and anger. Why they ain't just knock? Because they scared of being the reason everything blows up, the visitor answered. They know what they said messed things up. Durk stood slowly, shoulders heavy. Bring him in. The visitor stepped out. The silence that followed was thick and uncomfortable. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. The door creaked open. Someone walked in, head down, breathing shaky, hands trembling slightly. Everyone knew this person. Someone from the inner circle, someone who loved Vaughn deeply, someone whose opinion carried weight on the streets. But tonight, they looked terrified. They walked a few steps closer, swallowing hard. Durk. I ain't mean for it to go like that. Durk didn't blink. So you did say something. The person nodded slowly. Yeah, I did. But I swear I ain't say it like the internet making it. I was venting. I was upset. I ain't think they'd twist my words. Durk stepped closer. What exactly did you say? The person's voice cracked. That Vaughn felt off that day. That he called me earlier. That he sounded worried. I ain't blame nobody. I ain't accuse nobody. I was just talking. But people started adding stuff I ain't even say. Durk's jaw tightened. You know how this go. You say one emotional thing and 10 people turn it into 20 stories. I know, they whispered. I messed up. And I'm sorry. Durk didn't look away. What they saying now? The person wiped their face. They saying someone close should have stopped him. They saying his energy was off. They saying somebody ignored signs. And they saying, you should have been the one to pull him back. Durk went completely still. For a moment, he didn't breathe. This was the very narrative he feared from the second he heard the rumor. The narrative that placed responsibility on his shoulders for something he couldn't control. Something he wasn't even there for. The visitor stepped closer. This is why I needed to talk to you alone. This angle is growing fast. If you don't handle it carefully, it's gonna break more than just relationships. Durk closed his eyes, pained. Bro. Vaughn was his own man. I ain't never controlled him. Nobody did. The person nodded quickly. I know that. You know that. But outsiders don't. And the way things spreading, they making it look like you failed him. Those words stabbed him. Failed him. A thought he had tried to choke back all night. Durk's voice came out low and wounded. So what I'm supposed to do now? The visitor answered softly. You talk to him. Not the internet. Not the crew. Not the fans. Him. The one who started this. Clear the air. Make him understand the weight of what he said. If he corrects it, people will calm down. If he doesn't. Durk looked up sharply. If he doesn't. The visitor sighed. Then you're gonna be fighting shadows you didn't create. Durk stared at both of them, heart pounding, mind racing, realizing this wasn't just grief anymore. This was about to become a storm, one that could break everything if he didn't move right. He took one slow breath. Aight. Let's talk. And that's the part people on the outside will never understand. Grief doesn't come with a blueprint, and pain doesn't follow the rules. What happened after King Von's death didn't just shake Chicago. It shook every single person connected to him. From the arguments to the misunderstandings, from the pressure to the guilt, from the phone calls to the late-night conversations nobody will ever hear about. The truth is simple. This wasn't a moment the world could judge. This was a moment only the people living it could feel. Lil Durk didn't just lose a friend. He lost a brother, a bond, a history, a piece of himself. And everything that happened afterward, the silence, the anger, the rumors, the emotional cracks, was the result of a heart trying to survive something it was never built for. But here's the part you need to think about. If you were carrying that kind of weight, if you were standing in the middle of that kind of storm, how would you handle it? Would you stay quiet? Would you fight back? Would you blame yourself for things you couldn't control? Or would you break under the pressure of everybody expecting you to hold the world together? Because at the end of the day, nobody truly knows what Durk felt in those nights, except Durk. Now it's your turn to speak on it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us what moment hit you the hardest. Tell us what you think really changed after Von's passing. And if you want more deep dive stories, emotional breakdowns, and real mixed fake news documentaries just like this one, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss what's coming next. Your voice matters here. Your opinion shapes the story. We'll catch you in the next one.